and welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB, with my co-host and my producer, my guy, Jody.
Ooh, I was waiting for a Jody.
Jody, the Riz God. The Riz God.
Oh, Lord. We missed it on the last one. You had to bring it out eventually.
I had to hit it. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. We're back. Like, instantly for us. Maybe a day or two for you all listening, but for us, we're right back here, back at it, ready to go. We're talking tight ends today, Joe. We talked about positions in our last pod that are maybe more or less fun to watch. Where did tight ends rank for you in terms of evaluations?
Ooh, like as of collective, like position group?
Well, just in terms of the viewing experience, the evaluating experience, did you have fun watching them?
Oh yeah, it was way better turnaround than the last one.
Okay, all right.
I can guarantee that. I mean, one thing I wish I probably did like more researching, or like I wish I saw more, was just more blocking film, because like that's like the true value in the tight end, right? Like any dude can go out there and catch the ball. Really, it's just a matter of how they fare on the line with, linebackers running in or dealing with like some edge rushers, So I wish I saw more of that, but I mean, ultimately, it wasn't the case.
Yeah, I got you. From the standpoint of, and I would say I would agree with you in terms of the viewing experience being a little bit more fun, in terms of evaluating these guys. What was also more fun, this is a really good class of tight ends. I know you were excited because I texted you last week, like,
yeah,
these dudes are good. Like, we've got some really, really freaky good tight ends, huh?
Yeah. Well, on top of that, you hit me with the, hey, I couldn't just decide on 5. We got 6 this week.
Yeah, so that's the sneaky surprise cat out of the bag. We're giving you 6 evals this week. You're getting 6 for the price of 5 right now. So we threw one in there just because I couldn't decide. I mean, I was really struggling with the rankings, and it felt wrong, quite frankly, to go with 5 and leave the 6th guy
you don't want
off.
to snub a guy.
Yeah, I didn't want to snub a guy. I really felt like these guys all warranted a deep dive. And not just then there's this guy too, and I not that I like doing that with any of the guys. That just, clearly don't have the time to actually give a real evaluation the way we give about like the top 5 at every position. We can't give that about every guy for every position in the draft. I mean, that's like 600 players or whatever draft eligible.
Well, I was
players.
gonna say another thing is, like, really the day one dudes are like the main people you look at, and then a couple other days it's like, oh, that's where this guy's going. Like that could be,
Yeah. I mean, that's generally the allure of the draft. What's funny about it is the dudes who are doing it, they know they make their real money on rounds 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? That's where
the value.
That's where you get the value. That's where you draft. If you're drafting starters in those rounds,
if you get the gem, you're making bang for buck.
You're winning. Yeah. So, which is why it's fun to do top 5s, because you can evaluate some guys who are going to be later round picks, even though they're still interesting because there may be a top 5 player at their actual position.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's another thing too with me. You see the rankings, you're like, oh, this guy's supposed to be in the 3rd round, but Joe likes him top 2. Like,
yeah. No, it's fun. So I don't want to hold us up anymore. Let's get to these dudes. Who are we talking about first?
So the first guy we're taking a look at is going to be Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. Let's see, he sits at 6'5", 249. Played for 3 years. He's got 36 games in 3 years, so every game. Let's see, 180 receptions, 2,100 yards, basically receiving, 18 touchdowns. He's got, you got yak yards you found? Hey, so 921 of those yards.
I love that.
Came after catching the ball. He had 9 drops. That's actually impressive. Just 3 year. And then you're not to explain this one to me again. I know you did it earlier. The TTS block.
we'll just explain for everyone. So, I've been dabbling in some of these advanced metrics. Once again, this comes provided to us by 33rd Team. Shout out to them. They do such a good job, I think, of giving you more than your average stats and more than your average breakdowns of some of these guys. So I do use them for quite a bit of some of these extra stats that we get. But the TPTS block, it's basically, the way I understand it, if you understand what EPA is, expected points added, every play can be calculated to what value in terms of points are being added on that play, right? So, obviously, a 60-yard touchdown run is an EPA of 6, right? Because you're going to score 6 points, and in reality, with the extra point, I would imagine it's like 6 point something, based on the expectation that you're also going to make the extra point, right? But so what we're talking about here is just how many points are being added when this player is blocking on a running play, right? And so the higher the number on this block metric, the better the blocker they are. The way I would equate it, for those of you who are like basketball fans, if you've heard of plus minus, right? And this is where I think it kind of helped connect for you, Joe, right?
Yeah, because that's how I pieced it together. Just like, when you're on the field, when you're scoring, it's going to go up. And if people are scoring against you, it's going down.
So, your plus minus as a basketball player can be indicative of you being a better player. It's not always the perfect metric to say this is the best player, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with this TPTS block metric. But like plus minus, it can give you an idea of, hey, is this guy generally a better blocker or not, right? And so I think that's why we include the metric. It does help delineate between some of these guys as blockers. But I'm not going to tell you that it's the end all be all either. So that's my statement on the TPTS block.
Whoa. So Michael Mayer, I'll give you my quick notes I had from him. He has good focus on the ball, like tracking it, you know what I mean? He had good hands to obviously make the catch for those. And one thing you see, he has good balance. I don't know if any of this plays into what you wrote down, but a lot of people go for like the legs against him, and he just never really fell, or he'll get that hand down real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think looking at Mayer, I think the first thing that stood out for me was his lower body strength, right?
Oh, there you go.
You saw that?
It play into what you had.
Yeah, it does. Like, it just, I mean, he plays really good lower body strength. You can see it in his blocking ability and his ability to break tackles. Dude has like real tree trunk legs, make him durable, that make him a load to bring down. It's actually really fun to watch him with the ball in his hands. So without further ado, I'll hit you with some film here. So here you go. This is him against Clemson, I believe this year. He's going to lead block for the quarterback on the split read keeper right here. Split read keep coming out the back door. And watch what he does to this little fellow out there. Just pile drives him into the end zone real quick, gives his quarterback a hug afterwards. Boom. Drive. Love it. Right? That's all that lower body strength to just drive a guy, move him. Here he is on the under route against Duke. Boom. One broken tackle. Too strong. Oof. Then runs the dude over at the end. Love to see that. Right? There you go. You see it from the behind angle now. Just the way I'm not going down. You're not bringing me down. I'm running through you. Right?
Yeah.
And then finish the play that way too. So I love Michael Mayer's lower body strength. I think that's a separator for him. The next thing you see is his red zone route running. Right? Specifically in the red zone, nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Like I mean, probably one of the better college players I feel like I've seen in the red zone. Like, consistently, the way, I mean, he's good all over the field, but especially in the red zone, his height comes into play, but his route running is just so good. Especially for a tight end, dude. It's so impressive. That his route running helped him get open often and made him an even bigger matchup nightmare than just being a 6'5", 250 guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here you go. This is him down here in the slot. Watch this one, Joe. Just watch, bro. Just watch this. Bah, bro.
Yeah.
Left, dude. Left him. He left him. Guy, dude, your ankles are over there.
Hit him with the
So
little
tough.
slant real quick.
Look at this. This guy's expecting the slot fade.
Reaching. You reach, I teach. Wrong sport, but
30. All right, here you go. Yeah, I got you. Here we go in the high red right now, right? Oh, look at that cut. Nasty cut to break away from the defender. Absolutely dirty red zone route running. Look at this. Watch this. He sticks it, nods it back. Dirty. All right, here he is against Duke. Again, high red zone. Gonna run away from a guy and make a big time catch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and then Gronk stomp it afterwards. Let us know. Look at this catch. Boom. Right in the hands. Nasty. Filthy. Okay. This is maybe my favorite one, though. Oh, look at how it's just not fair. It's just mean. It's just mean to some of these defenders. It's not even fair. Look at this. Look at him how he sets him up, stems him outside, comes back underneath him, gets vertical, touchdown. Oh, and you think he can do all that? Now watch him run underneath, run the under, and pick that guy.
Look at the pig.
Yeah. He's just savvy. He's quick. He's strong. I mean, all of the things. I mean, he's an unbelievable red zone threat, red zone route runner. I love Michael Mayer, if you can't tell. The last thing, hands, bro. You saw only 9 drops in his career, but he has a 20-to-1 catch to drop ratio. 180 catches to 9 drops. He has some of the best hands in the draft, makes contested catches, one-handed catches through contact. He's just very reliable. You know what I'm saying? He's very, very reliable. So here you go.
I guess we did. I hit both of or 2 out of your 3 points with my quick notes.
Yeah, bro. I love that we're starting to see these guys the same way. Look at this one. One-hand dimer. What? Sticks that one hand out, bro. He had a day against UNLV, I'll tell you that much. UNLV struggled to cover this dude. Look at him. One hand, stick him. Nice. Another angle of it.
Yeah,
boom. True one-hander, bro. Now here's another one. Boom. Contested catch at the sticks. No problem. Sorry. Get the first, bro. So he loves those situations. He was very good in it. Joe, what did you see from Michael Mayer?
I have his combine numbers I could give you. He had a 4.7 in his 40. He had a 1.66 for the 10 yards. It's a 32.5-inch vert with a 9.10 on the broad. It's funny you mentioned the what was that, UNLV where he had a day?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize until I was doing Dalton Kincaid's that on ESPN they changed their stats for per game to where you had to click see all instead of just showing all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what he did in that game, but the one I wrote down was them playing USC. They lost 38-27. He had 8 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I remember that game. He was like what was keeping Notre Dame even within striking distance against USC. Because Caleb Williams actually took that game over and was awesome. But Michael Mayer was the player for Notre Dame who was also equally awesome. When I look at Michael Mayer, he reminds me so much of Jason Witten, young Jason Witten. Very athletic, great red zone route runner, strong, great hands, just reliable. And Jason Witten is probably going to be a Hall of Famer pretty quick here. So here's Jason Witten against the Giants a few years ago. In the red zone, might I add.
Yeah.
Look at his route running, gets inside, tough enough to snag it. Boom, take the hit. Tutty. No problem.
It's funny you had him written down for him. I had him for a different guy. But
that's funny.
It's funny too because we've gone like 4 episodes where I don't give a comp, but all of a sudden we get to the tight ends and like I start
You
seeing
got
dudes again.
comps?
Yeah, no, not for him. I didn't have one for him actually,
Okay,
but going forward, I think I got one for just about everyone. Yeah,
sick. I'm excited to hear
there's
'em.
one you're gonna find really interesting, and I want to see what you have to say about
Okay, good. Yes.
it. It's gonna
Um,
be a mad curveball. You'll never expect what's gonna come out of my mouth.
okay. Now I'm excited. Um, so I would just say this about Michael Mayer. He has all the tools to be a consistent, like Pro Bowl level tight end for much of his NFL career. I mean, he blocks effectively, he catches the ball well, he can line up anywhere on the field, he runs consistent routes. He is exactly what a quarterback wants when they think of an ideal tight end. There's a reason why he's consensus like best tight end in the draft. He's in my mind, like I said, I think he's Jason Witten, and Jason Witten's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but will
But
be.
will be,
Like
yeah.
I think he's that kind of player. I think he's special. Looks like he's going to be picked somewhere in the first round, somewhere between picks 15 and 28. I mean, despite what I just told you about him, tight end is not like, I don't think he's a guy that people are like, okay, you're going to draft him in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I think just outside that top 10 is when he starts to become a guy you got to really look for. Saw a lot of Packers buzz
That's
around
interesting.
Michael Mayer, which would make a ton of sense. They don't really have one right now. They lost some weapons in the just in the receiving
Yeah.
game in general with receivers in the offseason. The Packers would be, they're going to go with Jordan Love. They need to help him, give him some real weapons. I would love to see Michael Mayer in that the cheesehead fandom there. I think he would be beloved, quite
Yeah.
frankly. The Bengals showed up as a sneaky surprise. The Cowboys, again, both those teams have picks in the late 20s. I would be hard pressed to think he'll still be there. The Lions are very interesting as a team with 2 picks in the first round,
Yeah.
maybe with their second first round pick at 18. That may be where he could go. I think that's a very interesting landing spot. Could
Yeah.
be fun in the NFC North, dude. I got a couple NFC North teams here. What do you think,
Yeah.
Joe?
You said both the teams that crossed my mind was the Packers and the Lions. Obviously, you were more committed to Jordan Love being for the Packers. I was gonna say I don't really know who they're going with yet. Whether somehow they bring back our guy Rodgers, which I highly doubt. But
Nah, he's going to the Jets.
but then also like for me, I think they probably want to go after quarterback. I don't know how they feel about Jordan Love. But he is the next guy up. So
Yeah.
but yeah, those were the two that I had on my mind as well.
Okay. Love it. Love it. Who we have next?
The next guy we're taking a look at is Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. He's 6'4", 246, played for 3 years. He's got 31 games there, 107 receptions, 1,414 on his yards, 16 total touchdowns, 569 yak yards for his catches, 6 drops, and then that TPTS block of 28.
So his blocking rating is a little higher than Mayer's, but I would say that I actually value Michael Mayer as a blocker a little bit better. And this is where
Oh,
I say that at least from what I saw on film, this is where I would say the metric maybe is flawed here, despite Dalton Kincaid having a higher value here. But
yeah,
focusing on his strengths, first and foremost, elite athlete for the tight end position. Incredible athleticism as a tight end, dude. Whether he's hurdling defenders, running past them, catching the ball over them, he's
yeah,
just got explosive plays all over his tape. I texted you specifically about him and
yeah.
about some of the tape from this game that we're going to show. Joe, tell the people how Dalton Kincaid absolutely ripped USC this year.
Yeah, so when they played, they won 43-42. He had 16 catches, 234 yards, and a touchdown.
16 catches, 243 yards. There are dudes who play a whole season and that's their stats. This dude did it in one game. 16 catches after a guy has like 7. I'm telling you, the other team is going, okay, we got to double that guy. We got to figure out how to not let him catch it. Like, hey, he's the guy, right? And this dude went for, think about that. That's after like 7 catches. 7 catches is a pretty crazy game. To have 16, I don't even know if I've ever seen a stat line. 16 for 243 from a tight end is insane, bro. That's insane. That was like a legendary game.
Honestly.
Dude, that was like a legitimately like legendary game. Like that's going to go down in Utah college football history. How crazy that was. And so here's a clip. Here just gives you a snippet of what he was doing in that game. Here he is in the slot, bro. Watch this. Running the slot fade. Check this out. Watch this catch. Bow. Yeah. And guess what? The ref said, "Hey, he's out. He's out." And he's looking at him like, "Bro, you're crazy." Look at him pointing at him. You're crazy. Watch the replay. Watch him. Watch the replay. Look at that foot. Look at that control.
Money.
Yep. Foot down. Completion, bro. That's a catch in college football. Yeah. In the NFL, maybe not so much. Here he is against Colorado. Like, you see these look at all these little moves, all this athleticism. He's just bursting with it, dude. He's so athletic. Here he is.
Tumbling, bro.
Watch this play. Turning over the wrong side shoulder to make this catch. He turns over the inside, realizes it's thrown outside, finds it. Look at, and oh, come on, man. And then watch this. I'm going to hurt a whap.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. He's a freak. He's a freak.
Yeah, not all my notes, but a lot of my notes come down to literally what we all saw there. I said he has great awareness, good ball tracking / ball hawking skills. I mean, he's catching balls over defenders. He talked about him switching sides on his shoulder, and then the awareness with that play where he put his foot down. Like, it was crazy.
Bro. It's insane. What were his combine numbers?
So he only did the 40.
Yeah.
Or no. He was another dude who, so he didn't do nothing at the combine.
Yep.
But he was supposed to do it all on his pro day as well. The only thing is, I don't know if they had it yet or not, but the only thing I saw for him was his 40 time at 4.71. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's all I found.
I mean, so he may not be like the fastest guy. But dude, that tape, he's explosive, man. The next thing is like very simple and sort of, it's kind of a cop out, I guess, on my end, but like he just has this ability to get open. Like, I'm thinking about it, and Utah did not have any other real receiving threats on their offense, and he was just somehow always open. Like, he just has that unique feel. He has an understanding of where to run his route, the big picture concept of the route concept, and where I'm identifying what this team is running, whether it's man or zone, and where the hole is and where to run my route. I just think he's so good at that. I mean, again, against USC, it's 16 catches for 234 yards, even though they knew the ball was going to him. It's very, like, think of like the Super Bowl with Cooper Kupp, right? Remember when the Bengals knew the ball's going to Cooper Kupp and there's nothing they can do about it? And that's just a player dominating a game where you know what they're going to do and you can't stop it. That's what Dalton Kincaid is on film, like, especially in that USC game. That game's burned in my brain, bro. Like, he knows how to get open. And so, let's show some more clips of it here. And I'm not just going to bang on USC the whole time, I promise. Right? He did it to other teams too. So apologize to USC fans out there. Here he is in the slot, right? See how he just finds the soft spot in the zone, gets himself open. Great turn pivot on the catch too for the touchdown. Again, there's that athleticism. Here he is right here. Just gets to the flat right now. Identifies it's open. Get there. Touchdown. What about this play? Finds look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders in here, right? And what is he? He finds the one spot where Cam Rising can actually put it, and it's a touchdown. That's also a fantastic throw from Cam Rising, who will be a draft-eligible quarterback the next year. Keep your eye out on him. But just understands like where to give his quarterback a target. I just think he's very good at that. And then last but not least, his versatility. He can line up on the hip. Right here on the hip of the tight end or the tackle. He can line up out wide. He can line up in the slot. He can line up as the true inline tight end. He has the ability to run short routes, intermediate routes, vertical routes, as we saw. He truly did everything in that Utah offense. And I think all of that is translatable to the NFL. So here he is. He's playing inline tight end against UCLA. And we'll see what he does here off the play action fake. Runs the nice little vertical route. Boom. He's going to break a tackle, get all the way down to the 5-yard line. Okay, so he can do that. Okay, here he is off the hip, right? Sitting here at the bottom. He can run the underneath route. Boom. Great. Run the under. Now here he is. Ooh, oopsie. I guess you get to watch it back because I messed it up. But I don't think anyone's complaining. Dalton Kincaid film is really fun to watch. Again, we'll show it right here, running the under, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Now the next play, you'll see him in the slot, right?
Just getting vertical.
Vertical route against USC. Couldn't stop him, right? Now he's out wide. How many tight ends do you see do this? He's out wide. He's motioning in. This is where you're talking about like Kelsey, low-key Kelsey-esque that way. Like runs the little, and they run the screen for him in the red zone. So that versatility is, and Kelsey lines up more at receiver than anything, basically. Like this, Dalton Kincaid is kind of that way, but he can line up anywhere. And he actually gave me very big Darren Waller vibes, right? And so I might as well just go ahead and show that right now. Here's Darren Waller against the Ravens, couple clips that just, hopefully you'll be able to see what I see. First, he's in the slot, runs that vertical route. Boom. Great play. Just same thing. He has all that athletic talent and ability. Now here's Darren Waller on the hip in the red zone, right? He's going to run the little rub route outside. Strong, quick lateral, athleticism, ability to extend, get in the end zone. I just think they're very similar looking players athletically.
Yeah.
So I think that's really how he projects at the next level. Like I'm talking about the first two tight ends I've talked about, and one I'm comparing to a Hall of Famer, and the other I'm comparing to a perennial Pro Bowler, who's younger. So he doesn't have the career that I could say anything about the Hall of Fame yet, but if he kept going that way, So this tells you what I think of this tight end class. I think Dalton Kincaid is prototypical modern NFL tight end that should be asked to catch the ball more than he's asked to block. But that's prototypical nowadays, quite frankly. Now he can add some value and will likely get better in the run game, as a blocker, but he's going to be an explosive receiver at all three levels in the passing game. And teams are just going to have to know where he is at all times because he's that good. Any other thoughts that you saw, Joe?
So my comp was Tyler Higbee. I seen it more. There was a play. It was in one of the plays we watched where it's like it might have been him running like a post or something. He stops in the soft spot, got the ball, and then turns up the field for the touchdown. I don't know. That just to me screamed Tyler Higbee.
See, this is what I would say is I think Kincaid is just more explosive than Tyler Higbee, like faster. And Higbee's a little bit more of a like brawler, I guess is what I would say, like kind of beefy dude. You know what I'm saying? And Kincaid's a little bit leaner, but I see the route running in terms of the ability to run routes at all three levels. I do see the similarity, and I see what you're saying.
And then one thing I'll mention, I didn't do it for anyone else, but I guess the combine numbers I look at, they have draft projections. If you scroll down far enough, or like their comps.
Yeah.
And so for him, I saw it was Zach Ertz, and I was like,
interesting.
I was just Zach like, dang, I could have been giving out people this whole time if I just scrolled a little farther. But like, that's also not very true to like what I would see. It's just like someone gave me that's like, hey, let me get the homework. I'll maybe change a couple notes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think Ertz is actually a little bigger than Dalton Kincaid, but I think Ertz is like 6'6", dude. But I do understand like that type of weapon in an offense. Yeah. I mean, he's projected in the first round, somewhere between picks 15 and 30. Yeah. It's a real toss up between him and Michael Mayer, is like who could go off the board first.
Yeah.
Those two are the consensus top two, though. Saw a lot of Chargers love for Dalton Kincaid.
That's interesting.
I mean, with Herbert,
Yeah, but I've been seeing the Chargers fans wanting Zay Flowers, which
we love Zay Flowers on this
Yeah.
podcast too. So I'm not
I mean,
mad
like
with him.
I guess it's like you can't go wrong either way, but
You
like
can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
but like
Either
the way
dude's
I
gonna
see
be
it is like
dynamic.
they're with the question marks you have with Williams, like I guess that would make more sense, but
Yeah.
I mean either way, you get a good player.
The Bengals showing up again, sneaky.
Yeah.
If like Mayer goes first somewhere, maybe he could fall to them. The
Yeah.
Saints haven't had that like
Since Jimmy
game-changing
Graham.
tight end since Jimmy Graham, and this would be something close to that. The Cowboys, they lost Dalton Schultz. So could they be in the market for a tight end, you know? I wouldn't mind seeing Dalton Kincaid with them.
So speaking of Dalton Schultz, I actually had him for another guy we'll look at here soon. But the next guy we're going to take a peek at is got it in a different order. It's going to be Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State. He's 6'6", 253. He played for 4 years. We got 31 games in the 4 years, 47 receptions. See, this is where I talked to you about it before we started recording, where the tight ends in college don't get the same love they get in the pros, where like their receptions are very limited compared to what it is over there. Like
Agreed.
if you see big numbers, it's like the Jordan Addison we talked about in the very beginning. You know, like those are the dudes getting all the balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 47 receptions, 633 total yards, only 2 touchdowns, with yak yards coming out to 183. He had 10 drops, and his blocking PPTS at 25.
Yeah. So Musgrave did have an injury, I believe, his junior year. So that also limited him in some of the games that he could play. And he was kind of more of a late bloomer than anything else. But that's why you see some of the lower stats like you're talking about. I also think quarterback play at Oregon State wasn't as good until this last couple years. And then obviously he was hurt as a junior. So really this last year for him. But in terms of what he has, number one, this guy is 6'6", 253, and ran a 4.62.
Yeah.
Basically, besides Darnell Washington, who we will talk about later, Musgrave has the most impressive combination of size and speed. Did you have other combine numbers for him, Joe? I just since we're here, because it's impressive stuff.
Yeah, so his 10 yards was a 154. He had a 36-inch vert with 10.5 on the broad. And when I read those numbers, the way I was doing it is I watched the film, look at the combine numbers, and then look at the stats.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was watching film, I wrote down he has a good burst. And then when I saw the combine numbers of 154 on the 10,
Yep.
yeah, that adds up.
Yep. It's funny. Like he has he looks fast on film, and his steps just cover ground, which help him eat cushion on vertical routes. I mean, you love, especially for a tight end, you love seeing that. So here you go. This is a clip of him against Washington State playing off the hip of the other tight end. Oregon State's going to get a little play action, vertical concept from him, and he's just going to run away.
Yeah.
Run away from everybody. Boom, all the way to the sideline. Here's another one. Now he's the true inline tight end, right? And he's going to run just vertical seam. Boom. Great throw by the quarterback, too. Here's another one, right? Now he's the inline tight end again. You're going to get a little play action. Fake, get it to him in the flat, and now watch him just run. Look at all the ground he covers. He's running away from guys, right?
Yeah.
So I think Musgrave is probably the closest to the traditional inline tight end that we have in the draft in terms of like some of the other guys are a little bit more like new school, like they're going to line up in the slot or out wide, maybe even on the hip a little bit more. That's where they're going to be more comfortable. I think he's one of the guys that's more comfortable with his hand in the dirt, which is unique. He's really good on these intermediate crossing routes. That's a big part of Oregon State's offense. he killed defenses on the intermediate crossing routes. Really effective for a team that likes to run like a lot of wide zone boot action. Think the LA Rams, think the Detroit Lions, think what will likely be
landing spot.
well, just teams that like to run that kind of system. Like I think the Packers could go to more of that without Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he fits in that kind of scheme really well, just because you get him on that crossing route off the boot action in 11 or 12 personnel. And that's really what he likes to do. That's where he was good at Oregon State, right? So
Gotcha.
here you go on some of those intermediate crossing routes off the boot action, might I add, right? So here it is. Boom. Gonna get all the way across the field on this one. Take the hit. He's good. Keep him rolling. Here he is right here. Bottom of the screen. Boom. Same thing. Get across the field. Here he is right here from the slot. Again, that intermediate crossing out. He loves that like 10-yard dig or like the 15-yard over route, right?
Yeah.
He loves to cross the middle of the field in that intermediate area. He was great at it in college. So, and the last thing you notice with him is toughness. Ran a lot of routes over the middle of the field, so he absorbed a lot of hits by smaller defenders. Held on to the catch every time. He showcased that toughness, beating reroutes, breaking tackles, winning in those one-on-one situations. So we can see some of that here. Here he is the true tight end on the line of scrimmage here. Gets vertical. He's going to take that hit. He's still going to catch it, though. Yeah. Ball even kind of popped out of his hands for a second. Still makes the catch. Here he is over the middle. Boom. Against UW. Again, takes the hit, absorbs it, makes the catch, right? So you can see that toughness on display. Were there other things that you noticed, Joe, that I haven't mentioned yet?
I didn't even realize it, but I had the route running written down as well. And then talked about his hands. I mean, he had more drops than our guy Mayer. But
yeah.
I don't know. One thing I questioned was his balance. I don't know if I saw him stumbling a lot, like deep down, or if it was like after taking the tackles on the smaller dudes, if he was still able to continue. I don't know what I wrote down with that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, I got you. No, I think it's a fair question, kind of a bigger guy. So that's a fair question to ask. I thought of a guy who came out a couple years ago, playing with the Steelers now, came out of Penn State, and that is Pat Freiermuth, another kind of taller, longer player who had pretty good production in college, but I know you were talking about that earlier, like guys who kind of end up being better in the NFL than they ever were in college, and that's very true of tight end. So here we go. We got Freiermuth right here, week 1 last year against the Bengals. He's going to go in motion, right? Sit on the hip of the tackle where we saw a little bit of the Luke Musgrave film earlier. He's going to chip and get into the flat, right? But then turn it into the wheel route and go make this play up the sideline. Great hands, versatility, ability to make the catch, even taking the tackle. Just a very tall, athletic player. I think very similar athletic profile to Luke Musgrave, that size-speed combo, right?
Yeah.
I think Musgrave fits well in like a heavy zone blocking, play action boot offense. It's going to allow him to play on the hip, even split out a little bit, play the true tight end. I think he projects as someone who still needs some work on his blocking, needs to be more durable, but his ceiling as a pass catcher is incredibly high. Just like his size speed combo, it makes him a mismatch. So right now he's projected as a 2nd round pick, somewhere between picks 36 and 50. The Rams are a team that could possibly take him at 36. The Lions are a team that could take him if they don't take one in round 1. The Cowboys, once again, and the Browns. That would be another offense, I think, that runs that zone-heavy play-action boot scheme with Deshaun Watson and Chubb. He might be able to fit in there. They have David Njoku, who I think they really like and they just paid. But maybe if they wanted to add a second tight end, maybe Luke Musgrave factors in.
Yeah, for me, my comp I had for him was Dalton Schultz, which is funny. You talked about him earlier, but it was like I think he like ran like a quick out, right? Like he like hit the little like block down real quick and then hit the out. That's where I seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, out of the four teams we're looking at, I'd say Browns is an interesting one. Like you said, I don't know
Mhm.
if they paid Njoku or not, but I feel like that's a good fit. Just with they'd be able to create more what's it called, play action where they could hit a boot out of that and then get them
Yeah.
open. Rams, I do think they run that a decent amount. Just
Mhm.
it's a matter of just like getting younger, I guess. You know, they have Tyler Higbee, like
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier. And then out of the other two, I think the Lions would be interesting if they truly want a tight end. They could always just wait and get him a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, I think of all those teams, I think the Lions would probably be the most fun to see him with. Quite
Oh,
frankly, if they went some other directions in round 1 and we're looking to get a tight end in round 2, I would love to see him with the Lions. I think that'd be a fun pick.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Who we got next?
The next guy I want to take a look at is going to be Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State. He's 6'5", 254. He played for 3 years. He has 24 games over the span. He has 99 receptions with a little over 1,200 yards, 9 receiving touchdowns, and then, a little bit smaller school. I'm assuming that's why you weren't able to get the next couple stats going for him.
Yep. 33rd team, I think, was kind of lacking on the FCS stats here. So did not have his yak, his drops, or his block grade there. But we do have his traditional counting stats: 99 receptions, 1,200 yards and the 9 touchdowns. I think
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft. It's really hard to be an FCS player and show up in a list like this, but he
Yeah, that's true
consistently
too.
shows up, and there is a very good reason for it, and that's because even though he played at South Dakota State, he was a he was a really good football player there. South Dakota State, more recently has kind of been known for playing and losing a lot to North Dakota State, and North
True.
Dakota State has produced, kind of put itself on the map with Carson Wentz and
Is that where Trey Lance was?
Trey Lance. Yep, that's what I was. I
I
knew
knew
it
it
was
was
Trey.
Trey.
I
I
was
was
like
like
blanking on Trey's last name. I'm glad you said that. Trey Lance. So kind of put themselves on the map. And if you haven't watched, like,
tight end or a linebacker too, we looked at, right? Is that
yeah,
him?
yeah. If you don't know South Dakota, if you haven't watched a South Dakota North Dakota State game, like, do yourself a favor next year when those two teams play and watch, because it's an unbelievably awesome FCS rivalry. It's a really good game too. They play good football. So Tucker Kraft, really good player from South Dakota State. I think I noticed some different stuff, but first and foremost, really patient route runner.
Yeah.
Just good understanding of when to accelerate and when to settle in his routes. Does a good job of finding soft spots in the zone, creating separation in man with the change of speed. You saw that too?
Yeah, I wrote it down a little differently. I wrote game sense, where it was more like him being able to find the pockets, but like same description. Just that's what I wrote down.
Yeah, same, but different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll watch a little bit of it here. Here he is in the route. He's looking to run the out route, right? And he understands his guy running the vertical is getting a heavy jam right now. This is in the FCS playoffs. And so he's trying to get underneath that. So he's just, you know what I'm saying? He feels it, gets underneath, breaks the tackles, might I add, and gets a first down out of that. So it's a totally busted play, but he's just instinctually able to feel that and say, okay, I'm going to get back underneath, patient. I'm not going to panic. Boom, break out, break a couple tackles, go get a first down. Great job, right? Here he is in the snow, right? Here he is. He's gonna run kind of this vertical route off the play action, but he's gonna kind of slow play it and then burst and accelerate past the safety. Watch him. Boom, you see he just turned on the jets. Touchdown, and then he's gonna slide. So awesome. Yeah, feed him. Feed the big fella. Feed the big fella. Right there. Boom. Great play. Great job by Tucker Kraft. Okay. Here he is in the slot, right? He's going to run vertical. His quarterback's going to get in trouble, and you're going to see he's going to make himself available for that quarterback because he just understands where to sit it down, right? Where to make himself available. Very similar, I think, to Dalton Kincaid in that way, where they just make themselves available to their quarterback, right? See him? So he's kind of looking around. Okay, where is it? Find the soft spot. Oh, there it is. He got it to me. And let me just go score a touchdown real quick. No problem. Right? I mean, it's high-level stuff that you see from him. Really patient route runner. Well-rounded that way. Next thing I saw, contested catches. Great in the contested catches. He just does a good job of using his body, using his size to shield defenders, and then has these like super strong mega hands, these like mitts to make catches away from the defender without ever like letting the ball get into his body, right? He can make that catch out here and keep it out here away from the defender. So that really helps him excel in those contested catch situations. So you see it here. He's going to run the out route away from the defender right at the sticks, right? And this is going to be a really, truly contested catch. Now watch what he does with his body. So he like shields it and catches it away from the defender. Great play, first down. Huge play. Here's another one. Right here. Shields the body, uses that big catch radius, uses his hands, goes up and gets it. So I just think there's a couple of good examples of him being able to win in those contested catch situations against smaller defenders. And then lastly, but not least for sure, his fluidity. I was impressed by the fact that he was such a big player. He's uniquely fluid. Like, for instance, okay, how many tight ends do you see getting jet sweeps?
Yeah, I think he had like 6 total rushes over his
He
time.
he has some film of him getting jet sweeps or like returning an onside kick back for a touchdown or a near touchdown.
Yeah,
I mean, he
didn't score, but he got close.
He's a tough cover. He's tough to tackle because he's just able to get in it. He has that little kind of wiggle for such a big player, right? So we'll watch a little bit here. Like, watch him right here. See, kind of like, I just feel like he's fluid in his movement. He's efficient. He's got a little bit of that wiggle to him that goes along with his true, big fella, like that big fella-ness that he's got. But like even on this route to get back inside that defender, again, another contested catch too. Here's this. How many tight ends do you see that can do that? Kind of, let that defender go by, fly by, and get vertical, kind of get skinny and get vertical. Keep going. Right?
Yeah.
And then here he is getting the jet sweep. That's impressive. I mean, that's impressive. So for being an FCS player, it's very clear I don't know how he wasn't playing at a bigger school, maybe a late bloomer or something like that. But 2, he's got this big body and he knows how to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, yeah, it makes sense. So for him, he was the guy I had Jason Witten written down for.
Okay, I see it. I see what you're saying. I think it's a similar. I think he and Michael Mayer have similar body types. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the thing that gives me like the edge for Mayer probably is because Michael Mayer played at Notre Dame and Tucker Kraft played at South Dakota State. You know, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah.
I saw my comp for him was Dawson Knox from the Bills. So here's some clips of Dawson Knox playing against the Bengals right here. But here he is in the tight end on the nub side. Gonna run the little corner route.
Oh, you see him sit right there.
Yeah, and then like that ability after the catch, Tucker Kraft has a lot of that, right? That kind of nastiness with the wiggle and the body, you know? Yeah, I think they're very similar players that way. I think Tucker Kraft provides an ideal blend, savvy, and athleticism to that tight end position. He's going to be a productive guy at the next level because his understanding of defenses, how to run routes, it's going to translate despite him playing at the FCS level. He does have translatable tools.
Yeah.
You see a lot of projections for him late round 2, early round 3. Saw some Lions, saw some Patriots. That feels like a very Patriots pick to get him at the end of round 2, early round 3. Trade back in or trade back or whatever to get him. Feels very, very Patriots. The Packers, I guess this would be assuming they don't draft Michael Mayer. And then, hey, your Dolphins, they need a Gesicki replacement. Yeah. Why not Tucker Kraft in round 3?
Not a bad spot. It's funny you brought up the Patriots. That was my first go-to once I saw them in there. I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. Get our guy Bill Belichick, get him another weapon.
He's been hurting for those tight ends since Gronk left, dude. I mean, they have Hunter Henry, who hasn't quite lived up to what they signed him for, I think. But they could use another one. Can always use another one.
Yeah. I mean, you could go back to the dual tight ends when they had A-Rod and Gronk.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. You mean Aaron Hernandez?
Oh, yeah. No, bro, they had the baseball player. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they had A-Rod. Yeah. I forgot about that era. Yeah.
It's okay. It's better for me to be wrong on that statement than to actually
say it. Yeah, you're probably right there. You're not wrong. Who we got next?
Yeah, the next guy we're taking a look at is going to be Sam Laporta out of Iowa. He's 6'3", 245. Oh, man. Was that 4 years before I messed this up? Excuse me. 46 games over that span with 152 catches. Yeah, 1,781 yards. That's the most we've seen so far. Probably out of anyone, actually. Let's see. 5 touchdowns, though. A lot less than most. We got 885 yak yards, 9 drops, and then TPTS block of 30.
Yeah, so Sam Laporta is the smallest of these guys, but man, there's some stuff that really makes up for it with him. He's got some stuff to him. Number 1, elite speed. When you watch the other guys and then you watch Sam Laporta's film, it's noticeable how fast he is. I mean, would you agree, Joe?
Yeah. He ran a 4.59 at the 40, or 1.59 on the 10.
Yeah, he's sub 4.6. I mean, 4.59 at the combine, which made him the 3rd fastest tight end there. Little smaller, but like I said, that speed, it shows. So, without further ado, let's get into the film. Right? So here he goes. Elite speed. Okay, number 1. They're lining him up as the single side receiver against the corner. So that's 1. 2, watch the route they give him. And 3, watch the quarterback's confidence. They're going to give him just a fade route. And he runs right by dude for the catch. Vertical catch. Here he is in the screen. Middle screen to the tight end. Look at the speed. The open field burst.
Yeah.
Dude, he almost scores on this thing. He almost outruns everyone in the end zone. So those are just a couple examples of like true open field speed from Sam Laporta.
Yeah, that screenplay we just watched, that I only had one note written down for my guess, and it was about his vision, and it came from that one play.
Yeah. Got a little bit of lateral burst to him too. Phenomenal route runner, in part because his lateral movement is just fantastic. He can burst in and out of breaks about as well as any of the tight ends in this draft. He was one of the few bright spots in Iowa's offense. Not shade to Iowa, but like, man, the offense struggled. He was the dude for it, though, right? Yeah. So here you go. Here he is off the hip of the tackle on 3rd and 6, critical 3rd and 6 play, right?
Illinois.
Against Illinois. Yep. Ooh. And who's that against? A guy that we evaluated and loved, Sidney Brown. Right? So on Sidney Brown's tape, we showed him getting Sam Laporta, right? On that 3rd down, making that play. But now on Sam Laporta's tape, we're showing him getting Sidney Brown. So, hey, there's a little bit of get back for both guys. That lets you know both these guys were throwing haymakers all night and making plays, bro. Very good players. That's a hallmark right there of great players going against each other. But great play on the Texas route. Here he is. Oh, look at him on the out route, leaving a dude in the dust. That was not Sidney Brown this time. Although Sidney Brown missed the tackle.
Yeah.
Here he is coming back across the formation. Boom. Oh, look at that little juke move at the end. Yeah. Oh, look at this one. Uh-huh. The turn on the catch.
Yeah.
You see that? We're going to go back through these. Just the Texas route from him here to leave Sidney Brown in the dust, right? Just that lateral burst off that. Here he is running the vertical route. He's strong through it and then breaks outside, breaks away from his defender. Big time play. Here he is coming back across the formation and on the catch. Whap! That nice little lateral move. And here he is again on the catch, the turn back inside to make guys miss. That lateral burst and ability to make guys miss. I'm not saying he's Bijan Robinson level lateral suddenness, but I do love his ability to burst in and out of cuts and breaks. So in that way, he's very different for a tight end. And then the last thing, his run blocking is actually very, very good. It's the highest one out of these 6 guys featured here, his TPTS block rating. But, I would say this. Iowa ran the ball a lot, so he had plenty of opportunities to be good at it.
Yeah.
And he was often the run blocker at the point of attack for them. So I would expect and anticipate that all the opportunities he got helped his grade. But also, if you watch his film, I think he's a pretty good run blocker. And Joe, I know you're excited about this because you were talking about not getting great film.
Yeah.
Your boy found some good film, right? I had to dig deep for this one.
No,
so here he is against Wisconsin, right? Remember a little zone, wide zone. Look at him. Look at him take the edge defender. You talk about setting the edge as a defense. He just set it as the offense, right? Okay, here he is on the hip. He's going to motion over, motion back. Oh, he's going to come back on
counter.
Yeah. He's going to come back on the little split zone action, right? Kick that guy out. Now you're going to see it again from here on the hip. He's going to come back. Split zone action. Oh, reverse.
Open space,
and he's the lead blocker on the reverse. Great job. So there's some different blocks there that give you an idea of, what added value he brings there. So even though he's the smallest guy out of this group, he brings a lot to the table. Elite speed, lateral burst, great route running, phenomenal run blocker. He's one of the most complete tight ends in the draft. His combination of speed, lateral movement, toughness, intelligence, like all of that. His game is, despite being a little bit more undersized, is going to translate very well. I would tell you that. I think he's a real deal prospect at the next level. Did you see any other combine numbers or anything that you thought about Laporta that I missed, Joe?
He had a 35-inch vert. He did 10.3 on the broad.
Pretty good.
He had a 6.91 on the 3-cone, and then a 4.25 on the 20-yard shuttle.
Nice. Big games or any other notes that you had about him?
Yeah, so like his was interesting. He didn't really do like anything too crazy in any of his games, really.
Well, you know why? Iowa's offense sucked. I'm sorry to put it bluntly, but yes, that doesn't surprise me because their offense didn't do much in any game. So it's kind of tough for him to do. I mean that makes this all the more impressive, to be quite frank with you. So
yeah, the one game I had written down for him, they won 24-3 over Purdue. He had 3 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah. That's about the best you're going to be able to do in an Iowa offense. And that's production for them,
Yeah.
My comp for him is Noah Fant, who also came out of Iowa a couple years ago. I'll say this. The comp is really more about the receiving part of it. I think he's a better blocker already than Noah Fant. So I'll just say that. But from the receiving standpoint, here you go. Noah Fant, little 3x1 action. He's number 3. See that little burst to get underneath? Just the suddenness of that. Here he is again. Number 3. Boom. Breaks that tackle. Able to score. I think those are things that Laporta is going to do very well. That short area quickness and burst in and out of cuts. Some elite speed after he has the ball. And then I think he's going to bring more value than Fant because he's a better run blocker right now. So you put that all together. I love Laporta as a prospect. He's part of the reason, I mean, all these guys, I couldn't, because we still have one more guy to go, and there's a reason, and I just couldn't leave any of them off. They're also, I think they're all fantastic players. Right now, he's projected in round 2, somewhere around picks 40 to 60. Saw a lot of Bengals love for him. A lot of Bengals. That makes a lot of sense. Can you imagine him with Joey B? Kind of feels right, doesn't it?
Well, and Jamar, and T.
Higgins. Yeah. Saw some stuff with the Commanders for him.
It's interesting to see. They pop
The
up.
Jaguars, who have Evan Ingram and I believe have brought him back, but like maybe second tight end action, Trevor Lawrence. Woo. And then the Dolphins make so much sense in the world.
Yeah.
After losing Gesicki, I feel like he would be awesome for, what their head coach wants to do. And with Tua,
Mike?
Yeah,
Mike
I think that would
McDaniel?
be, I think Mike McDaniel would love having Sam Laporta. So your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah. So my comp was a little lofty, but I went with Travis Kelce. He it's
hot here.
All my comps come off of like what I see when they're running the routes, not necessarily with blocking or anything. Like I said, I had no fun with that. But it was one of the plays we saw is what brought it to me. It was like him running a little hitch in the middle of the field, spinning out of it and running for like a touchdown or almost a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
I want to say that's Kelce right there.
Yeah, so, I hear you. Oh man, I love Laporta too, but
I know.
You love Laporta.
I don't even think I have him that high on like that on my list, but I don't know. That's just what I seen.
That's
I don't know.
What came to you. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, last guy, the 6th guy for the price of 5. Who we got?
The last guy we're taking a look at is going to be Darnell Washington out of Georgia. He's 6'7", 264. He played for 3 years. He has 36 games, so all of them. Has 45 catches, 774 yards, only 3 touchdowns with 351 yak yards, 4 drops, and then his TPTS block at 27.
Okay. Darnell Washington, could not leave him off of this list. Number 1, freak athlete, freaky, like unbelievably one of the craziest athletes you can see on a football field. 6'7", 264, runs 4.65, jumps 31 inches. Incredible. Joe, any other combine? Yeah, go ahead.
408 on the 20-yard shuttle, 21 bench, 157 for the 10 yards.
What do you do on the broad?
10-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's for being a 6'7", 200, almost 270 pounds. This is crazy. This guy's he's really a basketball player playing football. I mean, that's really what he looks like. That's how he feels. I mean, we just look at the film. All right, here you go. I think everyone's seen this play. Anyone who's looking right now, and if you're just listening, it's a clip I'm going to show against Oregon, and you probably have seen it a million times. So he's going to start on the hip. He's going to come across, go to the flat. They're going to get it to him. He breaks a tackle, gets up the sideline. Defender comes at him. He jumps over him. You know what I mean? Like that's this dude. It's all like his potential is almost unlimited when you watch stuff like that, where you're like, wow,
So,
special.
I know I talked about not having any blocking film. When I clicked on his, the first like 6 plays were him blocking dudes. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he's a dog, and don't worry, I'm getting to that one. He's a dog there too. Now here he is lined up as number 3 in the 3x1 against Vanderbilt. Runs the seam. Jumps over another guy, gets tackled. Like, I mean, eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just, I don't know. And he's so fast too. I don't know, man. That's the kind of guy that makes you go like, what can you say? You just look
Yeah.
at the film and you're like, wow. Wow. Next thing, jump ball. He's an automatic jump ball threat in the red zone. Like I said, he's a freaky athlete, so that already makes him that. Then you throw in the fact that he's a good blocker in the run game, so it makes people have to respect that. You have to be perfect against him. Like, he's a perfect red zone tight end. He was the perfect red zone tight end in college. Show some clips of him just winning some jump balls. You'll enjoy this. All right, here you go. This isn't even in the red zone. This is just a jump ball that he's going to win against Mizzou every time, 10 times out of 10 on that. And then he's going to try and hurdle another guy. Okay, here's another one. Just jump ball, stick up the one hand, snag'ems. Unbelievable. Sorry, Vanderbilt. You're just having a rough day. Guy crushed you. I don't know if that was his game for you, Joe, but it appears he had a
No,
great game against Vandy.
it was them versus Mississippi State, 45-19, 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
Unbelievable, bro. I mean, he's a sick athlete. I just can't really say much more other than that. Like, it's just so hard to not even just harp on that consistently.
Well, for me, I wrote he was a ball hawk. I mean, it kind of ties in with your jump ball. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
a catch over. I mean, he's 6'7", and
Yeah.
the ability to jump too. Like,
here he is against Alabama. Look at that. He big boyed him. Like, that's where you go too small. That's where you too small. Here he is against Vandy again. Another jump ball. Mizzou again. Another jump ball. Takes the hit. Still catches it. I mean, just it's like a montage of hanging in the LaVar. Like, bro, like this guy can. Huh?
It's a montage of just you got mossed.
Yeah, dude. Really, seriously. He's gonna be on that. I would anticipate a lot. You got mossed, bro. All right. Last but not least, we hinted at this, his strength in the run game. Some people have compared him to having a third tackle in the run game as a blocker. His strength won a lot at the point of the attack against edge defenders. His effort and ability as a blocker should translate instantly to the NFL. Okay, here we go. Great film angle, by the way. So here's some real good stuff. Here he is again against Oregon. Lead blocker.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah, that was the first play I saw for his film in general. I was like, wow, what a guy.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, this guy's coming out of the gates hot.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one for you. How about this? You like this one? Just moving a linebacker 12 yards down the field. How about this one? Becoming the lead blocker on the split zone QB keeper that we saw Michael Mayer do something. This is almost exactly the same play as Michael Mayer earlier in this evaluation period that we saw. But again, same thing. It's just not even fair. Like, he just throws guys to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable strength in the run game. As a blocker at the point of attack, like, again, some people have been like, dude, this guy's like having a third tackle out there. So, that lets you know exactly how good he is. Any other numbers that we missed, Joe? I mean, I think you got all his combine numbers. Anything else that you saw from him that you thought I didn't cover?
I said he was long. He's physical and strong. Had good awareness. I don't know how all that played out, but yeah, those were my other quick notes.
I would say this: there aren't a lot of comps for 6'7", 264 guys. But the guy he reminded me of, like, who's also like freaky jump ball guy, straight line speed is fantastic, struggles getting in and out of breaks, can't run all the routes on the route tree, which is kind of where I think Darnell Washington is at right now. And also not as good a blocker as Darnell Washington, but awesome in the receiving game. That's Mo Alley Cox, the tight end for the Colts.
Yeah.
So you got a nice little picture of that here, him a couple years ago against the Vikings. This is a great just jump ball, like that same kind of straight line speed that he has, and ability to just go up and get it, right? I think that's
that our guy Phillip again.
Yeah, we got Phillip Rivers in a couple hits today, huh? Philly Phil. So I think he reminds me a lot of Mo Alley Cox, and like what you saw in that video, his ability to just go up and get it. I think he'll be able to give you that. I think he'll be able to give you great run blocking. I don't know if he's going to be able to run every route in the route tree, and that's my biggest question with him. But,
makes sense.
I think he's the opposite conundrum of most of the tight ends in this draft. Polished blocker, work needed to be done on his route running and as a pass catcher, right? So, but you're like, hey, he's an elite athlete, the highest ceiling of almost anyone in this draft. You know what I'm saying? Like unlimited potential. So from that standpoint, I understand why he's currently projected as a first round pick, somewhere between 18 and 31 right now. So Lions, usual suspect. Bengals, usual suspect. Saints, right? And then the Cowboys, another team that we saw pop up. Any of those teams in that range speaking to you right now, Joe?
The Cowboys. Interesting enough. I mean,
would feel like a Jerry Jones pick, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, just besides that point, like you said, they just lost their guy Dalton Schultz, a great run blocker who likes to run the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I that would actually, I think he would be a great Cowboy. To be honest, I think Jerry Jones would be a great. Would love to have a guy like Darnell Washington. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
We ready to rank them?
Yeah, before I know I told you I had a crazy comp coming in, and
yeah. This is it.
So
I thought it was the Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta.
Oh no.
All right, hit me.
So it's not just one guy, two.
We got like the mashup.
Yeah. So he looks like Julio Jones running the ball, but when he has the ball in his hands, he runs like he's Adrian Peterson.
That guy said he's two of the greatest athletes in the NFL ever combined.
But like, no, I mean, I'm just saying what I see. I'm not saying he's going to be those guys. You got to understand that. No, I don't say any of these dudes are to be the guys I say they are. That's just what they look like to me.
Okay. I mean, he has a chance to be that kind of special athlete. I mean, he is athletically that gifted, so I'm not mad at you entirely. Yeah. I think you're only like 3% crazy right now, but that's I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Wow. I'm excited to see where you rank these guys.
Yeah.
So
you want me to go first then?
I'll go first this time because I know you went first with the safeties. So I'll go first here. It's only fair. All right. Number one, I've got Michael Mayer. I think Michael Mayer is my favorite tight end prospect in, I don't know, maybe 4 years, something like that. Like, I like him better than people liked Pitts coming out of Florida. I think he's like, I don't know. I think he's like the perfect tight end. He can block. He does all the things. He gets you yak. He's reliable hands. He's red zone route running. He can run vertical, intermediate, short game. He's a decent blocker. Like, he can run inline. He can split out. He does it all. He does it all. Number two, Dalton Kincaid. It's like splitting hairs between Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid. I think the biggest difference in the two of them might be that Michael Mayer is a little bit better blocker right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. But I think Dalton Kincaid might even be more explosive than Michael Mayer as a receiver. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just athletically, like he might be a tick faster or be able to jump like a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's splitting hairs. And then number three, I think it was very clear. I love Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta would be the best tight end in most drafts. Like, I think all three of these guys in most drafts would be good enough to be the best tight end available. Laporta, the thing that separates him from the other two and why I have him third is just because he's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I think that's why I like the other two a little bit more. Their frame just being a little bigger. I do like that. At 4, I have the 6'6" product, Luke Musgrave. I love his combination of size and speed. I think he has a chance to be another very productive NFL player. At 5, Tucker Kraft. Again, being an FCS guy and making it to this point, a lot of respect for him. I think he's going to be a really good player. I love his frame at 6'5". I love the feel and awareness he has on the field. his patient route running. Those things stand out. At 6, I have Darnell Washington because he's unbelievably, incredibly athletic. But I do think there's like a little bit more boom bust potential for him just because I don't trust that he can run every route in the route tree right now.
Yeah.
Lateral quickness is a struggle for him. Getting in and out of cuts is a bit of a struggle. Now, straight line speed, he is he's the biggest, fastest guy. That combination of big and fast. I mean, it's crazy. He can obviously jump. He's going to give you great run blocking. He's going to give you a red zone jump ball threat right away. So I think he's going to give you some stuff that is very valuable. I just don't trust he's as polished as a receiver and going to give you as much value as the 5 guys I have above him right now. And then I have some honorable mentions, some other guys who normally probably would be in this top 5 if these guys weren't so good. And this is a top 6. Josh Wiley from Cincinnati, Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan, Payne Durham from Purdue, Payne Durham, really long, tall guy, had a great Senior Bowl. Cameron Latu from Alabama, who I think people are a little bit more down on because they don't think he's athletically as good. But man, you watch some of that Bryce Young tape, Cameron Latu stands out. He's a good player. So I think that's 10 tight ends who I legitimately would draft 4th round or higher. I mean, seriously, this is such a deep tight end class. If you need a tight end this year, you can wait until the 4th round and get a competent player, like a maybe starter level player. He's impressive. All of these guys, they're all impressive. That's all I can say. I mean, it's a deep class. I think all these dudes are going to be really good. So that's my ranking.
Yeah.
What you got, Joe?
All right. So first guy I have is Luke Musgrave. My notes was he had that quick burst, good hands, good route running. I think for a lot of these dudes, I'm probably looking more at just the route running side and not really blocking as well. That's probably part of the reason it's gonna be flipped a little bit. Let's see. Second dude I had was Sam Laporta. I mean, same thing. I said the guy was gonna be Travis Kelce for all we know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You said he had good blocking, which is good to hear. He is a little bit smaller though, but
yeah.
I mean the speed, quickness.
Speed kills, baby.
Yeah, I mean another reason right there. Third guy I'm looking at is Dalton Kincaid. He's good at catching the ball. He's quick off and getting the quick burst off the line. Has good awareness, like we saw with that catch at the sideline. Fourth guy, Darnell Washington. I think for this one, it was just mainly the most upside. You could see a lot of things coming out of it. It could be bad. More boom and bust, like you said.
Yeah.
And the last two, Tucker Kraft. I had a hard time. I don't know. Watching him and Michael Mayer, which is your guy. I had a tough time watching the both of them. Tucker Kraft, FCS. I mean, you could say everything bad about it, but like you said, he did make it to this point. There's some merit to what he's done. And then Michael Mayer, I don't know. As much as he was good at receiving the ball, I just feel like what I saw on the field didn't jump out to me. I don't know. Wasn't. No, I'm not saying the kid's bad, but just it didn't. I mean, you see how I rank all these people. It's mainly speed. See what else you could do.
Yeah. I got you.
So he wasn't that prototypical guy that I would like to see.
Okay.
I don't know. Film just doesn't jump out to me. Obviously, I'm nitpicking all these guys, so that's what it comes down to.
I get you, dude. No, I'm with it. No, I think at the end of the day, to rank these 6 guys, it's splitting hairs, quite frankly, in general. So it's a really tough group to rank because they're all so good. I would not be shocked if we see 3 drafted in the first round and if we see 6 drafted within the first 2 rounds. I mean, and the tight end position is not valued that way, but these guys are so good that I wouldn't be shocked if we see 6 guys go within those first 60 well, I guess this year would be technically 63
Or
picks.
yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. I mean, it's unlikely, but those guys are so good that it could. So yeah, that's real stuff right there. Got to end it with the banger, as you said. I know you were talking about expanding the repertoire. So I did listen to a couple of the songs that you've given out recently. Yeah. Not a big country music fan, but I like the songs that you sent out.
What was your thoughts on See Me Now? I know I listened to the other one with you.
Yeah, See Me Now so it's funny because See Me Now, the way it starts, the first few lines are very what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it as soon as it started. I was a little bit like, whoa, what is this? You know what I mean? It was like very like you know, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if this is gonna be my vibe. But then I started like listening to it and like listening to the words more so. And I think with music, I've always personally been more attracted to beats and like sounds more than like message or words, I guess, or lyrics, you know what I'm saying? But as I've gotten older, lyrics are more appealing to me now, I think I would say. And so listening to the actual lyrics of the song, I thought it was really good. I mean, it was great. Like I could, you know, I think a lot of people can relate to that. So, good messaging and I don't know, good song. I actually did like it. I didn't think I would, but I did like it. So, I've got a song for you today.
Sure.
That I was thinking about like, all right, what song? It's not a new song to me, but I don't know that it's like something that a lot of people. Yeah. It's called "What You Did" by Mahalia. You know who Mahalia is? Have you ever heard of her?
Never heard of her.
She's not like big time or anything like that, but she has a couple songs that I like. Yeah, so the song is called "What You Did," and it also features Ella Mai. I don't know who Ella Mai is, to be quite frank with you, but the song is like basically the background of the song is she's like, I know what you did, and so she's talking to like her significant other about like cheating, and then the song is like a clap back, like a real hard like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like her being petty about what this person did, but in like a weirdly mature way, I think. I don't know. I like the beat too. I like the beat to it. Originally, that's what drew me to it, but the messaging of the song is kind of fun too. So we'll see if you like it. I don't know.
What was the name again?
What You Did by Mahalia.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take a look at that right after this.
All right, cool. All right.
Last but certainly not least, man.
Yep.
Gotta close out with our guy Ray Ray, as always.
Ray Ray.
Another guy to check out if you're looking for new music.
For sure.